It's great to have you with us. Thank you very much for coming to dCS to see us today. So obviously the production department will be looking at 2-channel and we'll be looking at also some of our leaner products as well to see how they're built. We have a very small team here, but they're a very highly trained team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand off to my number one, so Daniel Thomas, production manager, and he's going to guide you through the entire assembly process for both 2-channel, and leaner.
Okay, so all of our dCS products start with one of these boxes. So these boxes are what we call our bought-in kits. So these kits have everything we need to build a unit to a programmable and testable stage, to this stage. So this is our Vivaldi DAC. So in this system we have a control board and then we have the DAC board sat on top. So this takes roughly an hour to an hour and a half to assemble to this stage. And then at this stage, before we plug the unit in, before we power it up, we will check everything and then we will get another person to come and also check.
Okay.
So we're going to want to make sure that every screw is tightened, every cable is fitted, the voltage is set to the correct voltage. Once we've got 2 people that are happy that this unit has been built correctly, we will log all of the stages and all of the serial numbers.
Oh, okay. 2 people to check and then do the signature.
Yep. And then we will put the initial software in. So we will put a base version of software in.
Oh, software.
And then we will do a software update as the customer would do it at home.
Okay.
So that we know when it arrives, they'll always be able to do the update. Once it's been fully updated, we will put a serial number into the unit, and then it's ready for our first test, which is over here. So if people want to have a look. So these are our auto test stations.
Oh.
So when we started testing our customers' units, we couldn't get test equipment that was good enough to test how in-depth we needed to test for. So we built our own, and we've had these here ever since. And these will test every single input and every single output at every single sample rate that we support. So there's 4 test stations on this side and then another 4 on the other side. So the auto test we do twice.
Twice for audit.
So the reason we do it twice is because every unit is going to go onto a soak test, and the soak test is a 48. Yeah. So soak test is where we have power going into the unit. It's powered up all day, and then overnight it's power cycled every 15 minutes. So it's turned on and off, and we're trying to stress the components as much as we can. So each test takes between 1 and 4 hours, depending on which unit we're testing at the time. Yeah, so this is around an hour to 4 hours. Then it goes on to soak for 48 hours, and then it goes back onto auto test again for a second time to make sure it's
1 time, 2 times, that's it.
Yeah, 1 to 4 hours, 48 hours, and then 1 to 4 hours again.
Okay.
So here we have the results. This is one set of results from one test. So this is for our upsampler. So I think there are 280 tests altogether.
So you will see the 3 tests in total in the box.
So the auto test, this is the auto test results. The soak test is just powered up, and then it goes back on to make sure it hasn't failed on the soak test. And it has to pass every one of these to pass. If it fails one of these, it goes into service and gets isolated so it can't be used. So once it's passed its second auto test, the auto test results will get saved on our auto test server, and then we'll keep them forever, so that we can always trace back any testing that we've ever done. And then that creates a file that we'll put all of the other test results in as we go along. Once it's passed here, we will go to the next stage, which is our bench test. Okay, so this is our bench test area. So this is some sort of rudimentary tests that can't be checked for automatically by the auto testers. It also acts as our first gate. So the first thing we do is we put the serial number of the unit in and press get results. And then what that does is that looks at the auto test server to make sure that we have a pass result for that unit. If it doesn't, then we can't progress the unit any further. So it stops you progressing the unit if it hasn't had its previous tests done. So once it's passed this test, then the units will get stored here. So they become a stock unit. Having stock units just enables us to work a little bit quicker. How we would normally work, we would get an order for a unit. So if we had an order for a Rossini DAC, what we would do is we would build a Rossini DAC to replace the one that we're about to take from stock. And then that way, that can be going through its test cycle while we do the metal work on. When we get an order for anything, we'll print an order sheet off. Then this order sheet is going to tell us what the unit is, what the colour of the unit is, the customer, and the destination country. One of the technicians will then pick this unit up. They will go to the storeroom and book the parts out, all of the metalwork out to come up to what we call clad. So we put in all of the metalwork on the outside. Every piece of metal will get inspected by Terry before she starts fitting it to the unit. Once the unit is nearly finished, before we put a top plate on, we will Terry will check every single screw, every single cable, make sure there's no dust in the screen, and she'll make sure it's 100% perfect. And then we will get a colleague to come and they will do the same.
Okay,
so two people always check every stage. So I just mentioned about the training program that we have. So all of our staff, all of the technicians here, they go through a 12-month training program.
Every one of them?
Everyone. So the first 6 months is getting used to the products, training, learning how to use the build instructions, always under supervision. After 6 months, like, we kind of expect them to be self-sufficient, but then it's another 6 months before we're happy to leave them to their own devices. So everyone is very highly trained. Every technician knows how to build, knows every stage of production. So we have 13 product types in 2 colour variants, and over those 13 product types there's 3,500 parts.
3,500.
And they're all committed to memory. Okay, so once this has been checked by 2 people, we'll put the lid on and then it's ready for our next test. This is our sound check area. So the first thing we do at this stage is we set the unit to the voltage of the destination country. We would set it to that voltage before we do the test. This isn't like a critical listening stage. What we're listening for is anything that the auto testers may not have been able to pick up. So the auto testers will pick everything up, but between frequency and input changes, it mutes just for a split second so that it doesn't pick up any strange noises during the test and fail. So what we have here is we're listening to just make sure nothing strange happens when we're changing through tracks and things that a computer can't do. So this is the first time that it's been checked since it's had all of the metalwork put on as well. So we want to check all of the functionality. So we want to check that all of the buttons are still working and things like that. So then we will log all of those serial numbers that we've taken at the start. They'll get logged in a log that gets saved onto the same file as everything else. We will then print the shipping labels and put the serial label with the voltage on the back of the unit as well. Once we've passed this test, we go to our final stage, which is inspection and packing. Okay, so this is our inspection area. The first inspection we do is the safety testing. So this is pattern flash testing. It's testing that all of the insulation and earthing is working properly. Once we're happy with that, we will do what we call a first eye inspection. The first technician will look over the whole unit. They will check every single piece of metal, make sure everything matches perfectly, no dings, no scratches, no dents. All of the anodizing is the same colour and shade. No dust in the screens, and then all of the serial numbers against the paperwork. If those two people are happy, then either myself or Colin or a member of the marketing team, they'll come and they'll do a third eye inspection. So then we will clean the whole unit. We will put the dust caps and the screen protectors on, and then pack it into one of the moleskin bags. Then it will go into one of our custom shipping boxes that we've had specially made. Then the box will get checked by two people. The inside of the box, so we will check all of the cables, all of the manual, make sure, and then we have checklists everywhere to make sure that what is in the box is correct. And then it's boxed up and it's ready to get shipped. So that is the 2-channel. Then the head fire stage is slightly different.